I've played over 2,000 board games, and nearly every game on the world's definitive board game list, the BGG Top 100. I'll be ranking them in 3 sentences or less. Go! Rebuild the future of humanity by exploring a frozen Earth, harnessing its resources, and recruiting survivors through a clever, multi-use card engine building system. Revive is a fresh and potent mix of strategy mechanisms and decent play interaction without the burden of an excessive rule set. It's more mechanical feeling and long in between turns than optimal. B tier. Outrace other astronomer players to discover gas clouds, comets, dwarf planets, and the coveted secret planet. The Search for Planet X is an evolution of Clue and Sudoku, the best deduction game ever designed. S tier. The Planet X sequels are worth your time too. Next game. Roll and assign dice in a tense and interactive game of exploring, fulfilling contracts, and building. Voyages of Marco Polo is the epitome of elegant but impactful player powers and interesting dice worker placement. S tier. Marco Polo 2 is even better. Next game. Pass and play cards, researching science, investing in war, and building monuments at the help or hindrance of neighboring civilizations. Seven Wonders is a fast and engaging fan favorite, great for hooking those new to the hobby and introducing engine building concepts. Less dimensions to gameplay than I crave. B tier. Play cards to outrank and prioritize yourself for map scoring opportunities against your opponents. El Grande distills the best elements of games of Risk or most other area control games into a rules light and classic package. Impressive game, but a little long for its own good. B tier. Develop powers via a skill tree to more efficiently explore space and engage in combat. Beyond the Sun has an interesting and variable skill tree that forms the foundation for high replay value and an engaging engine building experience. A tier. Open buildings and fulfill quests in this Dungeons & Dragons themed strategy game. Lords of Waterdeep, at its core, is a basic worker placement game. It's been outclassed by newer, more creative takes on the mechanic. D tier. Strategically move dice around a variable board in a novel way at the aim of building a great pyramid. Teotihuacan's gameplay, while interesting and initially enticing, doesn't feel exciting or different enough to warrant long-term value. B tier. Construct dikes, drain bogs, harvest flax, and care for newborn animals better than your opponent. Fields of Arle is designer Uwe Rosenberg at his most thematically tired. Arle's big directionless sandbox feel is both uninteresting and more lackadaisical than what I seek in a 2-player only experience. F tier. A mechanically solid cooperative fantasy deck builder with a couple interesting twists. Aeon's End's curveballs don't result in unique feeling gameplay, and it fails to stand out beyond other bland genre experiences. D tier. Explore a dangerous dungeon, collecting loot, building an evolving deck, and pushing your luck. Clank features an incredible core system that's fun-forward and an evolution of what deck building can be. S tier. The next game is Clank, but with the new wrinkle of random map generation. Clank Catacombs injects more luck into a game that, if anything, should benefit from less luck. B tier. Move assassins, elders, and builders to claim oases and acquire player powers. Five Tribes is a unique rules-light strategy game that has good depth, but is played with analysis paralysis heavy calculational turns that allow minimal turn planning and require annoying option hunting. D tier. Play space-themed cards to engine build and race your way to victory. Race for the Galaxy features a Puerto Rico-inspired action activation mechanism, constant tactical choices, and a warp speed playtime. Ugly art, annoying symbology, and uninteresting combos leave me wanting. C tier. Draft tiles and build chains in this rules-light, puzzle-forward strategy game. Azul is a modern classic famous for its accessibility and gameplay grit. Its ease and production beauty have rightfully made it a popular choice for those new to the hobby. A tier. The Azul sequels are worth your time too. A cooperative campaign set in a nightmarish world where your party crafts items, builds a settlement, and uses dice to defeat difficult monsters. Kingdom Death Monster, a dice-heavy campaign game, wouldn't typically entice me. However, Kingdom Death's unique identity and execution on thematic gameplay are impressive and engaging. B tier. Play space cards with limited communication via a hearts-like cooperative system to overcome challenges. The crew provides an accessible and fresh-feeling spin on trick-taking that's both fun and challenging. A tier. A League of Legends themed cooperative campaign game with programmatic actions leading to some wild and unexpected gameplay. Mechs vs. Minions is an accessible, fun-forward, well-produced experience that's more repetitive than optimal. B tier. An asymmetric collectible card game that feels distinct and unique in its genre. While interesting, Netrunner's lack of support, low-level accessibility, and high learning curve are too significant to attract and sustain regular play. C tier. Imperial Assault is a multi-mode, solid but generic dungeon crawler bolstered by a well-implemented theme. C tier. Invest in art and attract visitors to host exhibitions in this complex strategy game. The Gallerist is the most thematically cogent Vital Lacerda game. Relatively smooth, coherent, and deep gameplay at the cost of an obnoxiously dense rule set. C tier. A medieval worker placement game with a number of interesting twists. Focused, enjoyable engine building gives Paladins of the West Kingdom an edge over most strategy games that share the worker placement mechanic. Its lack of meaningful interaction and variability result in less than optimal long-term viability. C tier. Develop your harbor and businesses and maximize your production chains as other players get in your way. Le Havre is a thought-provoking, no-luck strategy game with a strong game arc and satisfying level of player interaction. A well-deserved modern classic. A tier. A mapped-focused resource optimization game with a player-driven market. Clans of Caledonia is oddly reminiscent of Terra Mystica without offering enough uniquity or additional execution to supplant itself. D tier. Bag build and push your luck to consistently create powerful brews. Quacks of Quedlinburg's lacking production, overbearing luck, low player interaction, fiddly mechanisms, and overstaying playtime equate to a poor experience. F tier. Stop crashing that plane! SkyTeam is a 2-player, limited communication cooperative game in which you place dice to land against all odds. Thematic, tense, fast, and fun. A tier. Sail the seas, explore islands, and represent European countries in combat in this engine-building strategy game. Maracaibo feels like a longer and more solitary remix on Great Western Trail. C tier. Try the sequel Pirates of Maracaibo instead. It distills the Maracaibo experience excellently and crafts a strong identity in the process. Next game. Draft and place dice to provide a variety of patrons' food and sleep within your hotel. Grand Austria Hotel's impactful theme and gameplay are held back by a central mechanism that feels restrictive and unengaging at higher player counts. C tier. Grand Austria Hotel's expansion greatly improves all aspects of this game and would result in an A-tier re-rank. Next off, build, network, and manage resources in a race to supply the most cities with power. Power Grid features an experience that's lengthier and mathier than optimal. However, its gameplay is so clean, interactive, and interesting otherwise that it earns its classic status. A tier. Place workers on a spinning Mayan calendar to improve their action benefits and pursue multiple paths to victory. Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar's innovative design, features the best components of any game ever. The smoothest and crunchiest strategy game in its weight class. S tier. Renovate an estate, manage servants, and pursue romance in Victorian England. Obsession is a novel, well-executed theme, complete with a tight and fresh optimization puzzle. A tier. Explore Eldritch Mystery cooperatively in this app-assisted crawler campaign. Mansions of Madness's familiar, long-session crawler gameplay is bolstered by an intensely interesting and immersive theme. The app integration is both brilliant and overbearing. B tier. Play cards and tiles to reconstruct a city after a historically accurate series of disasters in this complex strategy game. Lisboa's clever multi-use card system powers a big, interesting sandbox to optimize. Once the game's tricks are revealed, however, so too is the opportunity cost of playing Lisboa over other optimization puzzles that are far less dry at half the rules complexity. D tier. Build your farmstead, sow fields, raise livestock, and feed your really, really hungry family. Agricola is a tight, thoughtful classic strategy game with strong, indirect player interaction. The drier than normal theme and grindy feeling gameplay hold this back from the more fun, recent designs provide. C tier. Epic Viking battles featuring epic monsters. Blood Rage is a fast, streamlined, and identifiable take on Risk-style area control gameplay. The random card draw and patchy long-term flow hold it back from an otherwise incredible design. B tier. Action select to competitively travel to orbit and colonize Mars. Gluttony. On Mars's interestingly implemented theme and crunchy puzzle is also needlessly complex and obtuse. About the furthest thing you get from elegant game design. D tier. Use exosuits and time travel to compete and place workers on a sprawling board. Anachrony is a generic, long, fiddly, uninteractive, and uninteresting strategy game that pretentiously calls loans time travel to generate excitement. The least elegant, overwrought game I've played. F tier. Don't even get me started on this game's expansions. Next, Agricola's sandbox dwarf farming brother. Caverna the Cave Farmers provides a more inviting approach to gameplay, but still feels just as dry. Mostly a lateral move that's been bettered by subsequent games by Uwe Rosenberg, the designer. C tier. Competitively draft animals and habitats to build a thriving ecosystem. Cascadia is a well-presented and designed puzzle that's almost as accessible and fast as it should be. B tier. Flick discs to secure more valuable sections on the board than your rivals. Crokinole, the unanimous crowd pleaser, has the largest depth to complexity ratio of any dexterity game ever. S tier. Optimize resources and be put in the driver's seat of a production facility racing for factory goals and promotion. In Kanban EV, just like Lisboa on Mars and The Gallerist, you're presented with a dizzying rule set at the exchange of an interesting theme and puzzle. And just like Lisboa on Mars and The Gallerist, Kanban EV's gameplay doesn't justify its rules investment. D tier. Use innovative action selection to eke out better resources, buildings, and shipping than your rivals. Puerto Rico's clean and lean design is proven and timeless, but its dry theme and gameplay elements hold it back. B tier. Place workers and craft an engine to build future cities on the ocean floor. Underwater Cities' 200 card options meld with a simple and smooth central mechanic, creating big replay value and depth. A tier. Tableau build in a political area control game seeking to reinvent a Middle Eastern empire. Pax Pamir is an odd, unintuitive game that'll frustratingly and unconvincingly take a significant number of plays to grasp. So hyper niche and dry to the majority of the population that it'll inevitably collect dust on a shelf. F tier. Start your food empire in a competitive marketplace where you hire a workforce, market your company, and deliver food. Food Chain Magnate marries theme and mechanics incredibly. A rules-heavy economic sandbox that's interactive, deep, challenging, and fun. A tier. A collectible card game where you cooperatively battle villains with iconic heroes. Marvel Champions is a generic combo builder that outstays its welcome and feels oddly isolating despite being cooperative. D tier. If you're looking for an incredible comic book collectible game, try Dice Masters instead. Heat, Pedal to the Metal is an imaginative, exciting experience bogged down by unintuitive iconography and a slow procedural gameplay flow that's both ill-suited for its theme or familiar target audience. C tier. Next up, design and age white and red wines in your very own Italian vineyard. Viticulture is an accessible, although generic worker placement game massively bolstered by a charming and well-integrated theme. B tier. Next off, The Crew Mission Deep Sea is the crew's more challenging, variable, player count scaled, ocean-based sister sequel. Don't bother with the original space-themed Crew. Get this one instead. A tier. Sorry, I couldn't see the camera past that massive tree. Gather resources and cards to develop a thriving village of woodland creatures. Everdell is an accessible but generic worker placement game with a beautiful veneer. Encumbering luck and long card text mar an otherwise charming game. C tier. Dystopian nations assign workers creating dams and stealing water for hydroelectric dominance. Barrage is a fresh, challenging, interactive, and elegant design featuring a peculiar pasted-on theme. A tier. Orleans is an incredibly captivating and thought-provoking core loop that quickly needs more variability to sustain subsequent play. B tier. The promo buildings and trade and intrigue expansion are excellent and addresses my concerns. Take control of the forest with asymmetric gameplay unique to each animal faction. Root is ambitious, beautiful, and unique experience impaired by a brutal rules overhead and steep learning curve. C tier. Outbuild your rivals with asymmetric action powers in a tight, fantasy-themed efficiency puzzle. Terra Mystica is dense, challenging, and competitive. A grinding feel mars an otherwise brilliant core system. C tier. More on this system soon. Next up, attract hundreds of possible bird species to your habitats and combo them together to repopulate and achieve goals. Wingspan's world-class theme and production is integrated with fun, thought-provoking gameplay. More luck-driven than strategy enthusiasts would prefer, but exceptional at hooking those newer to the hobby. A tier. The expand-alone two-player focused version of Wingspan. Wingspan Asia features the most interesting gameplay and art of the series. A tier. Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, the game. Lost Ruins of Arnak is a fresh and impactful combo-driven deck-building system surrounded by a sterile track and luck-heavy exploration. B tier. A collectible card game in which you uncover the horrors of the Lovecraftian mythos. Arkham Horror the card game is a promising system afflicted by overcomplexity and an annoying business model. C tier. Concordia's dry, beige theme camouflages a rules-light, deep strategy game with incredibly fast and smooth turn flow. A tier. Next up, Concordia Expand Alone, but team versus team. Concordia Venus is structurally different, but just as good as the original. A tier. Design a thriving Viking village by whaling, hunting, farming, and more for Tetris-like pieces in this complex strategy game. A Feast for Odin is a massive sandbox of 61 worker placement spaces and endless strategy cards boasts a big replay value. Poor player scaling, goal variability, and lack of interactivity hold this one back from its potential. B tier. The Norwegians expansion helps address the scaling and interactivity problems I have. Next up, the same exploratory dungeon, deck building, push your luck system of the original Clank applied to a story-based campaign structure. During Clank Legacy's campaign, the emergent story and legacy elements interrupt game flow, are time-consuming, and are often only applicable to one player. Once the tedium of the campaign concludes, Clank Legacy becomes the deepest, most satisfying version available. A tier. Expand your canals and railways in the Industrial Revolution. Brass Lancashire's incredibly dry theme is supported by gorgeous artwork, a challenging efficiency puzzle, and heaps of, at times, brutal player interaction. A tier. Gather resources to build a powerful civilization, but be careful not to flip cards that help your opponent outclass you. Seven Wonders Duel's brisk and brilliant uncovering card system initially feels aggravating when lacking tempo control and cruel when you exert control. On repeat plays, strategy becomes rote and calculational. C tier. The Lord of the Rings re-implementation of this system is reworked with a more dynamic and flexible tempo that would be A tier. Next up, control mechs to efficiently farm, battle, and explore Eastern Europe in a 1920s alternate history. Scythe features area control and a resource efficiency puzzle, but does neither well enough to form any interesting identity. D tier. Roll then draft powerful tiles to build the most valuable and complete estate. Castles of Burgundy has thoughtful, engaging, streamlined, and interactive gameplay that's occasionally held back by restrictive options and repetition. A tier. The Vineyards expansion and other modules go a long way to alleviating its restrictive nature. Up next, build settlements, operate a train, and gather cattle to export them across the United States. Great Western Trail is a competitive strategy game with numerous, deep, and exciting strategic paths to explore. Quick and simply structured turns give this game an addictive and unusually accessible feel. S tier. The tactical optimization of production, cutthroat interaction, and a rotating market cultivates an epic, tense, and brain-bending experience in Through the Ages. Overwrought player turns, long play length, and excessive game state upkeep are significant downsides to an otherwise well-executed game. C tier. A an iteration on the strategically dense, asymmetric, efficiency-based Terra Mystica system. Gaia Project solves the Terra Mystica's pitfalls through even more variability, strategic routes, and progression. S tier. Next up, a second and frankly odd lateral iteration of the Terra Mystica and now Gaia Project system. The changes that are present in Age of Innovation are a cut and dry improvement over Terra Mystica and impressive in their own right, but a couple of the incredible improvements in Gaia Project are missing. A tier. Combo cards and reclaim your land as a powerful native spirit in this complex cooperative game. Spirit Island is a challenging and well-designed game with a satisfying arc. Downtime-heavy whack-a-mole style turns that are fiddly and procedural hold this one back. C tier. Gather support and engage in tactical strikes or use military prowess and brute strength in this epic galactic game of cat and mouse. Star Wars Rebellion's emergent storytelling is executed better than 98% of games. If its rules were streamlined and gameplay length shortened, Rebellion would be improved dramatically. B tier. Manage resources and draft cards to make Mars habitable in this complex strategy game. Terraforming Mars is ugly, unnecessarily long, has an overwhelming luck factor, sloppy, has unsynergistic card engines, is unforgiving for new players, is heads down, fiddly, and a table hog. F tier. Assign workers, deck build, and fight in the Dune universe. Dune Imperium is a well-conceived mix of engaging mechanisms that impressively evokes the universe and creates tense gameplay. Each mechanism feels unrefined and restrained from its potential in some way. C tier. The Dune Imperium system refined. Dune Imperium Uprising's action space variability doesn't feel as patchy, and the card combos are more interesting and impactful. The introduction and implementation of sandworms is a significant drawback, however. B tier. Build a thriving, fully featured zoo by managing the strength of actions and comboing cards. Arc Nova is a well-concocted mix of exciting mechanics that feels exceptionally thematic. However, Arc Nova is held back by its heads-down feel and significant and ill-fitting luck factor. B tier. Enhance your combat abilities, explore dungeons, and acquire loot in this sprawling fantasy campaign. Gloomhaven incredibly bridges the gap between American and Euro-style board games with deep, thoughtful gameplay and compelling storytelling. Extensive setup and upkeep and over-complex interactions and rules are its downsides. B tier. Gather vaccines to fight deadly disease outbreaks around the globe in Pandemic Legacy's cooperative campaign. The fiddly downtime of added rules, component changes, new setup, and recap in between sessions of legacy systems is juice not worth its squeeze. There are next to zero games I want to play 15 times this quick in succession. D tier. Expand your canals and railways in the Industrial Revolution. An incredibly dry theme supported by gorgeous artwork, a challenging efficiency puzzle, and heaps of, at times, brutal player interaction. Oh, did I say that already with Brass Lancashire? Well, Brass Birmingham is basically the same game, with small adjustments that make it more strategically interesting. A tier. For good reason, I've been critical of many of the modern board games that have sprawling components or are complex in nature. I break down those reasons that, over the last decade, slowly and subtly, strategy board games have been getting worse. And worse. And worse! That's a taste of the intro. Watch this video next. Boop. Beep boop.